Hey, what's up, Ziguanas? This is day 28 of the 30 Days of Zig Coding Challenge. Join me as I apply over 2 decades of professional programming experience and around 15 years of code teaching experience to master a new programming language, Zig. My name is Dusan. Welcome to Zignited. So today is day 28, and today on the menu I have build in Zig. Finally, the day has come. So I did install Zig locally on this machine. I did install only Zig. I didn't install a language server. So I have just Zig, and that's enough for now to play with. And for the ones that are here maybe for the first time, this is my day 28 of Zig learning. So I haven't had any experience previously with Zig. I have experience with other programming languages, and I wanted to document my process of learning. So it's not live tutorial or live teaching, trying to teach you guys something about Zig, but it's more like documenting how I learn, the learning process. And I thought it was going to be interesting to some people to see how someone who learns Zig as, I don't know, 13, 15th language, I don't know, how someone with a bit of experience learning languages, programming languages, would approach learning a new language, and also someone who was on the other side. So I am still teaching other people to code, so I've been on both sides. So that's why I thought it's going to be interesting to document the process of learning a completely new language. Okay, that being said, let's do some build in Zig. Let's see what they say. So Zig has 4 build modes. Debug. Yeah, I kind of remember of these. They were mentioning some of these modes during in other chapters here in the docs. This is Zig docs, official docs, but they never said exactly. It was like 4 or 5 or something like that. So they never mentioned a number. This is the first time I see the exact number, and I remember some of these, but I didn't know that there are exactly 4 of them. So debug, which is the default, okay. Build mode, then ReleaseFast, ReleaseSafe, ReleaseSmall, fast, safe, small, okay. To add standard build options to a build Zig file. Let's see how they say we can do that. They have, so okay, this is the pretty standard import. Then the function build, they create this function. They have one parameter, which is the pointer to this standard build type that is coming from here. The return type is void here. Then what they say const optimize, so they create one constant here. They take this input from here, invoke this method standard optimize option, and they pass anonymous struct, a tuple. And then they create one more constant here. They call it exe. Then they take the same input from here. They add executable. So I also remember some of these from yesterday when we went through some other related topics. So they have 3 fields. So this is a anonymous struct, and inside of it 3 fields: name, root source files, and optimize. And they set the values. So they name this example. They say the path is this one, so the same folder, and the optimize equals optimize. So they pass this here that they created here. And then finally, what they say, they invoke on the same struct here, or same, I don't know what this is, probably a struct. They invoke default step depend on method, and they provide the address of the executable, this one. I mean, this struct that represents the executable, and then the step inside of it. Okay, then let's see what they say. This causes these options to be available. The optimize equals debug, optimizations off and safety on default. Okay, deoptimize equals ReleaseSafe, optimizations on and safety on. Okay, so this is the optimized and safe, ReleaseSafe. Okay, then deoptimize equals ReleaseFast. Still optimizations are on, but the safety is off. So it's kind of the opposite of the default one. And then finally deoptimize ReleaseSmall. Both of this is on, optimizations on, safety off. So like this one. This is size optimization. Sorry. Okay, it's a different thing. So not only optimizations in general, but specifically size. Okay. Then, hi Robert, how are you? Yeah, I also didn't expect that I will start this late. I literally came back home maybe 10-15 minutes ago. So I was outside the entire day. So literally I thought I'm going to be even later today. Let's see what's next. Debug. Really, now they're going to go through all these just to explain them. So let's see the debug first. So they take this example Zig here from this build Zig. No, this is a different one. This is build Zig. Where is the example Zig? Maybe it's something that they just mention, not that it is here, but they just say some example. Okay. So Zig build exe, they invoke on this example Zig, the default, because they don't have any flags afterwards, like here. Fast compilation speed, safety checks enabled, slow runtime performance, large binary size, no reproducible build requirement. Then release fast. They have this first part of it the same. Here they have this -o flag, which probably says it's about optimization, probably, or I guess. Release fast, okay. Then they say fast runtime performance. After fast runtime performance, safety checks disabled. Slow compilation speed, large binary size, the reproducible build. Okay. Then release safe. Again, the same flag, just here it's safe instead of fast. Medium runtime performance, safety checks enabled, slow compilation speed, large binary size, reproducible build. And then finally ReleaseSmall. So this is the same, this is just ReleaseSmall. Medium runtime performance, safety checks disabled, slow compilation speed, small binary size. So this is what they optimize for. Reproducible build. So only the first one is not reproducible. Yeah. Okay. Then they suggest that we see also compile variables, Zig Build System, illegal behavior. We already went through this. This is the last thing that I will do probably maybe even today. So let's see the next topic, single-threaded builds. Let me just see one thing before I continue reading, just to go back to this example file. And before that, just to make sure, yeah, these are the built-ins. I just wanted to see if I missed somewhere the code example for this example Zig, but this is literally, I guess they want to say any Zig example. Okay. So then let's see what they do here. Did I jump over? No, that's the part. Single threaded builds. Zig has a compile option, f single minus threaded, okay, which has the following effects. All thread local variables are treated as regular container level variables. Let's see what they... Where is this part? I don't remember this static local variables. Maybe I jumped over when I did variables because this was not the basic thing, but a bit more advanced. Maybe I jumped over. Okay, let's go back here first to see what they want to say in general. So all thread local variables are treated as regular container level variables. The overhead of async functions becomes equivalent to function call overhead. Okay. The import built-in single-threaded becomes true, and therefore various userland APIs which read this variable become more efficient. For example, std mutex becomes an empty data structure, and all of its functions become no ops. Okay. Okay. Illegal behavior. Okay, we went through the illegal behavior before. So this is everything that they wanted to say about single thread builds. Okay, so then there is only one thing left. Let me just have to find it. Yeah, build mode single thread builds. And then I believe it's somewhere here. Yeah, Zig Build System. Yeah, this is also small. So this is literally everything that they have in docs. Let's see what they say about Zig Build System. The Zig Build System provides a cross-platform, dependency-free way to declare the logic required to build a project. Okay. With this system, the logic to build a project is written in the build Zig file using the Zig Build System API to declare and configure build artifacts and other tasks. Some examples of tasks the build system can help with: performing tasks in parallel and caching the results depending on other projects, providing a package for other projects to depend on, creating build artifacts by executing the Zig compiler. This includes building Zig source code as well as C and C++ source code. Okay. Capturing user configured options and using those options to configure the build. Surfacing build configuration as comp time values by providing a file that can be imported by Zig code. Catching build artifacts to avoid unnecessary repeating steps. Executing build artifacts or system install tools. Running tests and verifying the output of executing a build artifact matches and verifying the output of executing the build artifact matches the expected value. Okay, running Zig format on a code base or a subset of it, and custom tasks. To use the build system, run Zig build --help to see a command line usage help menu. This will include project specific options that were declared in the build Zig script. Okay, for the time being, the build system documentation is hosted externally. Build system documentation. Okay, there is a lot more here. Oh yeah, a lot more. Is this all about build? Yes, okay. And if I go back here to learn, this is, I remember this was some, like the first day I was clicking on these things. Okay, let's see what they have in the Zig build system, because I'm literally here at the end. There is the next thing is C, and I did C before, so this would wrap completely the docs. And I just want to see these things that I missed before, just to give it a look. Container level variables, identifiers, variables. Yes, I went through this, but I jumped over these specific thread local variables. Local variables, I did these. Okay. So yeah, this is just like a small part of the docs that I jumped over. Doesn't matter. And let's see what they have here. When to bust out the Zig build system, getting started, the basics, generating files, and handling examples. Those are the chapters. And then simple executable, installing build artifacts, adding a convenience step, running the application, user provided options, standard configuration options, options for conditional compilation, static library, dynamic library testing, linking to the system libraries, running system tools, project tools, producing assets for embed file, generating source code, dealing with one or more generated files, mutating source files in place, and then some examples. Okay, let's see what they say. When to bust out the Zig Build System. The fundamental commands Zig Build Exe, Zig Build Lib, Zig Build Object, and Zig Test are often sufficient. However, sometimes a project needs another layer of abstraction to manage the complexity of building from source. For example, perhaps one of these situations applies. The command line becomes too long and unwieldy, and you want some place to write it down. You want to build many things, or the build process contains many steps. You want to take advantage of concurrency and caching to reduce build time. You want to expose configuration options for the project. The build process is different depending on the target system and other options. You have dependencies on other projects. You want to avoid an unnecessary dependency on CMake, Make, Shell, MSVC, Python, etc. Making the project accessible to more contributors. Makes sense. You want to provide the package to be consumed by third parties. You want to provide a standardized way for tools such IDEs to semantically understand how to build the project. If any of these apply, the project will benefit from using the Zig Build System. Getting started, simple executable. This build script creates an executable from Zig file that contains a public main function definition. Okay. So this is hello Zig. Then they have, so this is just like saying literally hello world. Then they have build Zig, which is very similar, if not the same, like the previous one. Just the target here is maybe different. And then install artifact. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit different. I don't remember. Then they have in the shell these 3 steps succeeded. Okay. So because this is a very, very long documentation, I don't think it makes sense to read it at this level, because they will cover some very specific use cases. This is what I wanted to run here. Let's see if I can open up command prompt and come here, maybe zoom in a little bit, that I type here Zig, yeah, Zig build, right? And then 1 minus 2 minuses, minus help. What they say, initialize build Zig template file with Zig in it. So I have to have this file first. This will not help in general unless you really have already the build Zig file. Okay, see Zig help for more options. No build Zig file found in the current directory. Okay, let me go. I have it here. Give me just a second. The code directory, and I will make here shortcut. Not shortcut, I will cut. So let's say here, this is going to be called, let's say something like example 1, and I will take this here. Wait, I have first to switch to D, and okay. Now let's do create this where it was here. They had example at the beginning. So let's first of all create this hello Zig file here in the folder. So I'll just do it like this that you guys can see. So just create a new text. So this is how it's called, hello Zig. And I'll just open it in the best text editor ever, Notepad. Paste this. There we go. And then I have to have this build Zig as well. And let's do these. Where is my, here. Okay, and now if I run, where is my command prompt? If I do why, here it is. Okay, now this is doing something. What happened here? Okay, so now I guess I'm getting the same thing that I get here. Let's just see. Where's my terminal? I lost it here. Okay, sorry. So let's see if I compare my terminal with these things. They should be pretty much the same. Okay, yeah. The same flags here. So here in my case, this is non-project specific options, and here it's the Windows equals bool in their example. So they have different settings, okay. But in general, I got the same output as them, more or less the same. And let's see what they say. So let me actually read it from here, from my, okay. Okay, copy build artifacts with install, uninstall, remove build artifacts from prefix path, then general options, -p or 2 times minus and then prefix and then the path where to install files. The default zig out, okay. Prefix libdir, where to install libraries, prefix exe dir, where to install executables, prefix include dir, where to install C header files. So include is only for C. So it includes release mode, request release mode optionally, specifying a preferred optimization mode, fast, safe, small. This is the same like -o flag that they had. Request optionally specifying. Okay. So request release mode optionally specifying. Okay. Let me see what you guys write. Robert says, by the way, how did the download integration go? Sorry if I already said. So today I literally downloaded from the official Zig language site the manual I went with. So here, maybe I even have it here. Let's go Zig lang. So from here, from the official website, I went to download. I downloaded the 0.14.1 for my machine here. This one, I just unzipped on C, and I added a path to the environment variable, and I recorded the entire process. So it took me longer to record because first I was recording the wrong monitor in OBS, then something else. I forgot to do something else, and then I had to re-record some things over and over again. So that took me longer than to actually make Zig work, install it. Yeah, so I did only this. I didn't install language server. And now literally what I did is here, I made this folder, because when I typed Zig build help, it complained that I don't have a build Zig file. So here, no build Zig file found. And then I just I copy pasted some of their examples just to quickly have some build Zig file and the hello world file, and I just ran the help again. So I didn't build anything. I just ran help to see what is here, what they will show me. Then I was reading up to here when I saw your comment. And what Robert says, now you can put skilled Zig installer on. Yeah. Experience, 1 day experience installing Zig. Then the next thing here I see in help with build is -- release flag, where you can say, no, I read this, sorry. This one is next, minus F darling. This sounds weird. F darling. F no darling. I mean, because of the F word in front and the combination. Okay. F darling, F no darling, integration with system install darling to execute Mac OS programs on Linux hosts, default no. So this is only for Linux host, makes sense. Then F camo, F no camo, integration with system install camo, if you pronounce it like this, or QEMU, or however you pronounce it, to execute foreign architecture programs on Linux. Default no, okay. glibc runtimes, and then the path enhances camo integration by providing glibc built for multiple foreign architectures, allowing execution of non-native programs that link with glib. Okay, glib. Then where this C comes from? Okay, glibc. Oh, yeah, makes more sense. Rosetta, F no Rosetta. Rosetta. So, sounds like, yeah, F Rosetta, F no Rosetta, rely on Rosetta to execute x86 64-bit programs on ARM64 macOS hosts. Default no. Oh, WASM, WebAssembly. F WASM time, F no WASM time, integration with the system installed WASM time to execute WASL binaries. Default no. Okay, F wine, no wine. Yeah, this is Windows. I used wine before. I never used this darling before, but I did use a lot of wine. This also sounds weird. I did use a lot of wine, yeah. F wine, F no wine, integration with the system installed wine to execute Windows programs on Linux hosts, default no. -H or -- help, print this help and exit. -L minus list steps, print available steps. -, verbose, print commands before executing them. -, color, auto off on, enable or disable colored error messages. For better readability, or you can detect them easier. -, permanent compile errors, buffer compile errors, and display at end. So it will not display immediately the errors, but it will buffer them and then display all at the end. Okay. Summary mode, and it can have these 4 values, all new failures or none, and it prints. Actually, let's first read the general one. Control the printing of the build summary. Then the first one, all, prints the build summary on its entirety. New, omit cache steps. When you have cache steps, failures default, only print if failed steps. Do not print the build summary is the last one. And then they have this J flag with something inside. Limit concurrent jobs. J stands for jobs. Default is to use all CPU cores. Okay, but you can then, if you want, you can limit them to use only like 5 cores, 2 cores, and so on. Okay. Max RSS, and then the bytes, limits memory usage. Default is to use available memory. In the entire available memory. Okay. Skip OOM steps. Instead of failing, skip steps that would exceed max RSS. Fetch, exit after fetching dependency tree. Watch, Continuously rebuild when source files are modified. Ah, this is cool. So this is automatic immediately when you modify some source file, it will rebuild automatically. That's cool. That's cool. Fuzz. Continuously search for unit test failures. Debounce in milliseconds. Delay before rebuilding after changed file detected. So this is, I guess, together with watch. And then fin incremental is the sub flag of this one. Enable incremental compilation. And f no incremental, disable incremental compilation. Or maybe they are, so I'm not now sure because this is like intended, this one not. If they are both related to this or in general. Let me see what Roberts says. You can also make fast Zig project in current directory with Zig init. Aha, this is like the skeleton, right? So if you just like type Zig init, it will just create something like a basic structure. Yeah, I will try that now, definitely. Project specific options, none. System integration options. So you don't have any project specific options in build here by default because I didn't set any of them. So I guess they will show up here if I did. Okay, system integration options, search prefix and path. Add a path to look for binaries, libraries, headers. So you don't have to organize them in a specific way. You can also search sysroot path, set system root directory, usually /. Okay, libc file, provide the file which specifies libc paths. So you can have internal entire file for this and set it up as you wish. Okay, system package dir, disable package fetching, enable all integrations. fsys name, enable a system integration. fno sys name, disable a system integration. Okay, available system integrations none. So this is because I didn't set anything up. Advanced options. This is a bit larger. So I'm trying to keep this large enough so if someone is watching on the phone, they can read better, but I also want to have everything in one line that they don't break. So let's see the next one, advanced options, f reference trace. How many lines of reference trace should be shown per compiler? F no reference trace, disable reference trace. All f allow so scripts allows .so files to be GNU LD scripts. F no allow so scripts, so files must be elf file. Elf files. Build file, override path to build Zig. You can set up the different one if you have multiple files and you want to, for some reason, test a different build file. Okay. Cache dir, override path to local Zig cache directory. Global cache dir, so the same for the global. Zig lib directory, override path to Zig lib directory. Build runner file, override path to build runner. So you can override all. You can have files wherever you want them. Build runner is the last one. Okay, seed in the integer for shuffling dependency traversal order, default random. Debug log, and then the scope, enable debugging in the compiler. Debug package config, fail if unknown package config flags encountered. Debug RT, debug compiler runtime. RT stands for runtime. Runtime libraries. Okay, debug compiler runtime libraries. So it will check them as well. Verbose link, enable compiler debug output for linking. Verbose air, enable compiler debug output for Zig air. I don't know what's Zig air. Verbose LLVM IR file, enable compiler debug for output for LLVM IR, verbose LLVM BC, or LLVM BC, verbose C import for C imports, and verbose CC for C compilation, and verbose LLVM CPU features, enable compatible debug out for LLVM CPU features. Okay. And this is the end. Let me see what Robert wrote. It creates generic projects. Robert is speaking about Zig init, I believe. It creates a generic project with ability to build executable directly and C ABI compatible library. You always choose one and delete the other. So build executable directly and C ABI compatible library. And you choose one. Let me see. Let me try to do that. So I will just create. Oh, by accident I clicked on this Copilot. I don't want it on another screen so you don't see it, but it annoyed me. So let me create here one more. Here I'll create one more folder. So let's do this one, example 2. And let's see if I call here. And here it's example. This one. And how it's just Zig init, right? Let me see what you wrote. Zig init, yeah, let's try. And let's see what is here visually. I mean, I can ls here, but it's a habit more than anything else. So they have generated build zig.zone and source, which contains this main zig and root zig. So let's go first through this here. Oh, it's a big one, but most of it's commented out, as I can tell. So, and now this is because I opened it up here in Notepad and everything is not color coded. So I apologize for that. Next time I promise I'll have some ID set up. Okay, this is the same build function. It looks like this is the standard one. This signature here is the same, void again the same, then target, standard target option. So this was a bit different, but I understand why. Yeah, this is interesting. I will definitely read this to see, but I first want to see I want to have the overview, how the files look like before I read. This is build zig zone. Let's see what they say. This is default name used by packages depending on this one. And it's interesting that it's a struct, this file. For example, when a user runs zig fetch save URL, this field is used. So they are now, all this is, I guess, explaining this first field. I just want to see what they say. So for example, when a user runs zig fetch save URL, this field is used as the key in the dependencies table. Although the user can choose a different name, most users will stick with this provided value. It is redundant to include zig in this name because it is already within the zig package namespace. So that's why here they don't say .zig. Okay. So like I said, I want to do first the overview, so I'm not going to read everything. I just wanted to see this first thing. Let me see what Robert says. Robert says they had it separate in past, so the CABI and the library, right? From what I understood, will have again in the future. It's basically just a test. Okay, so they're testing how it works now. This is just a test. Okay. Yeah, a lot of comments in the template project. Zone equals zig object notation. Thanks for explanation. So ZON stands for zig object notation. Okay, so then in the source file we have main zig and root zig. And this is the only ZON, right? Zig object notation. So that's why it looks like a struct. Okay. So I guess they are using this. So like JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. So, and it's a standard. So it's not used only JavaScript, but they use it in REST APIs and also in GraphQL and some other, most of the modern communication between machines. But I guess that this is not only for, let's say, for the project to have some settings. I guess they are also using the same Zig object notation for many different reasons, right? So maybe they also exchange data internally or something. Let me see what Robert says. Also, you can notice stuff in build system. And for example, the outputted executable is based on the name of the folder you created it in. You can always change it though. Yeah, so this is going to happen, of course, when I build. So far I just did Zig init, so that's why we don't have executable. But yeah, so understood. They will use this folder name as the executable if you don't change it, if you don't override the behavior. And Robert says, for you, it's all going to be example 2. Yeah. Thanks for explaining. So let me see the source, and let's see first the root. By convention, root Zig is root source file. Let me extend this. No need to keep it small. So by convention, root Zig is the root source file when making a library. So I remember they were speaking about this root before, but simply because I didn't have any project, it was more abstract in my mind. But I guess this is it. If you are making an executable, the convention is to delete this file and start with the main Zig instead. This is just like for the library. Const std equals import. Okay, this is just like to import a standard library. Const testing, they take the testing from std. They have one sorry, public function, and they export it, and this is famous add a and b example. And here they test. So they expect, if they call add with 3 and 7, they expect this to be 10, which is of course the case in this case. So this is the root source file we're making the library. Okay. And this is some, let's say, imaginary library function, and this is just where they test it. Okay, and then the main function that you get with Zig init. Again, a lot of comments, but let's see what they say. The first main Zig is where your main function lives in. Lives in the case that you are building an executable. If you're making a library, the convention is to delete this file and start with root Zig instead. Let me see just one thing. If I do Zig init help, can I get the help for init? Okay, initialize the Zig build project in the current working directory, and that's the only thing that it says. Okay, so I just wanted to see if you can maybe, when you do this Zig init, if you can say something like, if you know, of course, you're making a library, then you don't even need the main. So I just wanted to see here in the help, if there is an option, if you say Zig init and maybe minus, I don't know, library or lib or something like that it will just like then create the root instead of the main Zig file. That's what I wanted to see just. Okay, let's see what else they say. They have this example main function and they test it. Oh, they have several tests. Okay, we'll see what they do. So let's first check the main function that you get for free when you use Zig init. Prints to standard error. It's a shortcut based on stdio get std error. They are explaining this part here. Okay, so std debug print. For a second I thought I saw backslashes here, so I thought they're explaining something lower, but it's here. So std debug print all your, and then the string are belong to again, or your are belong to us. The quote, and then here code base they inject here. Okay, so this is printing to the standard error. Then std out, so this is now explaining the next thing. Std out is for the actual output of your application. For example, if you are implementing gzip, then only the compressed bytes should be sent to std out, not any debugging messages. And they give an example here, maybe even more these lines. Let's see. So they create a constant std out file. They take the stdio. So in this case, not the debug that standardly I used during these 28 days. I used only the std debug print, and I just use it to print to this standard error output, right? And in this case, they're using the standard IO input out buffered writer. So I did see this in some examples in Zig, but I did not do anything with it. That's what I meant. So buffered writer, and then they passed the std out file, which was created here. Sorry, I jumped over from line to line. So first this one creates a std out file. So they use stdio get standard out function, and then this will obviously return something that contains the next function writer, and then they call that one writer, and this will provide some struct or some other thing that is representation, in-memory representation of your file, right? And then you get the next line. They call this bw, it's a variable, and then they say stdio buffered writer, and then you pass the standard out file to the buffered writer, and then here they called this stands for buffered writer, bw. Okay, so then they say bw.writer, and they set that to be a standard out. So these 3 lines of code to make you something that you can then actually use to output text. Yeah, this reminds me on C, that, and even in Java, like the writers in Java, it's like this. So you have to create like in few steps, if they haven't changed. So I haven't done these kinds of things in Java for a while, but it used to be like this, like writer, you import one thing, then wrap it on rather something else, then you wrap it around something else, and then you write finally. Okay, then what they do, they just use the std out print. So they use this struct or whatever it is, and they say dot print on it, and then they just, in a similar way like what we did in the standard error output, they have the string literal, and they can also use the interpolation here with these tuples, but they don't use it here. So they just say run Zig build test to run the tests, and then they flush it. Okay, they clear the buffer. Don't forget to flush. Yeah. Okay, let me see what you guys wrote. Sorry. Robert says, also you can notice stuff in build system, and for example, the outputted executable is based on the name of the folder you created it in. You can always change it though. Yeah, I read this, sorry. For you, it's going to be example 2. Then Andre says, hello Andre, welcome again. By the way, there is better playground for Zig. It is still relevant. If it is still relevant. Yeah, which one? Yeah, it will be helpful. So maybe I will not use playgrounds anymore. Maybe I will just to quickly show something or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be useful maybe to other people to use it. So which one you had in mind? If you can share, please. And Robert says, native setup done. Well, Zig installed. LSP editor still on wait. Yeah, this is the update. Yeah. So I might use it in my tutorials. So because I like to start from without installing. So I like to show people how they can start coding immediately, because a lot of people, especially the ones that are like learning their first programming language, they have this pushback towards setting things up. So if you tell them like, yeah, you can use this programming language, you can code, but before you have to install this, and to install this you need to install this, then they get like scared. So that's why I like to introduce them to programming, like I said, especially if it's the first programming language, by just like giving them some link that they can immediately use. So in Python you have python.org/ is it Python.org? I forgot. Python Foundation, the official site. Then /shell, and then you have live shell like this one there. And I like to show people that when they start coding, so that they at least have something that they become familiar with, like the language itself, something like literally hello world print, and then they see, aha, I can run this code, and then I explain, okay, yes, you can do this easily, but it's of course better to write it on your computer. Like if you want to do some normal text editing, you would not use Notepad, you would use Word or something similar, depending on the system and so on. So that's why I for sure I will use some online editor again, so Playground, to demonstrate probably in the first video that I'll make, to just show to people that they can easily start with Zig. If they are scared of setting things up, that they can use it. So it will be interesting to provide them with options for sure. Let me see what you guys say. Andre says, sadly CEO for it is not good, so it's impossible to find in Google. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, Google has changed so much. I've heard, I watched some videos on YouTube how some site owners that were literally like living of people finding them on Google and then going to their website and buying something from them. So they literally, like, you have families that they are doing that as a business, and they don't have any other sources of income. And then when Google changed the SEO in December previous year, they suddenly lost like 80-90% of the visits, the organic visits that came from Google. And this is very scary for people. So yeah, this is completely story that is specific, because they're now forcing these AI results. Whenever you search something, by default you get AI. You can click on web, so you will still get the web results first without AI if you want, but they are kind of burying those things. So by default you're getting the AI and so on. So this is sadly, especially in the last year, very bad thing that happens. Andre says it runs compiler, compiled to WASM. Oh, WASM. So works without server. Yeah, that's cool. Also has autocomplete. Oh, what is the link? What is the link? What is the name? The URL. Robert says that would be helpful. Yeah. Yeah, this one has Zig Playground. It has this highlighting at least, so it doesn't have autocomplete, but at least it highlights. So it's better than this, what I have here now on my machine. Zig Tools website. Aha, thank you. Let me open it up. Zig Tools org. Aha. And let me see where it is here. Zig Playground website, I guess. Oh, cool. Oh, this is so cool. No, I think this is very important for people, especially, like I said, for the ones that are starting with Zig as their first language. This is so cool. Can I resize this somehow? I don't see any option. Not important, but yeah. So Normally, of course, I normally use it in this size, but when I'm showing to someone video calls or like now in stream, I usually like to zoom because people don't see. This is like what I hate when I watch tutorials. They keep things like this because they work on huge monitors and they can see, but you cannot see anything, especially if you're watching on the phone. So this is what so I mean, there is no need that you have all this space here. So this is much better. Yeah, this is so cool. I will definitely play with it a bit. Or your code base belong to us. Again, the same reference, yeah. Yeah, this is cool. And Zing output. Aha, you have options here. ZLS debug, Zig debug, and Zig output. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool. And you can even share. So I guess if you share, you will get exactly the same. Let me see. So if I do, for example, here, anything, if I say all with 5 else, and if I say share, what happened when I said share? Did it copy something? I didn't see anything. I don't see anything happening. Maybe not run, but share. No. And if I paste here, what happens? Aha. This is something else that I had in memory, not what I... So this is not doing a copy. I mean, not sharing the link. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so definitely I will play with these. Thank you, Andre. Let me see what Andre says. And there is link. Sell YouTube log. Can you attempts? Yeah, yes, YouTube does let you paste links. Well, some improvements are needed. Yeah, but it's excellent that you have at least something like that. So if you have autocomplete, so that is, you see, like, this is crazy that you have this in web. This is so cool. Yeah, I will definitely mention this in the tutorial that people can use. I would recommend over maybe this one, because this one doesn't have autocomplete. Yeah. Thanks, Andre, once again. Let me go back to the main Zig that is on my local machine. I have to brag a little bit, so after 27 days without local Zig, finally I have it. Let's see what is next here. So yeah, I went through the main function. Now let's see the test, what they do. They have one simple. So they create variable list. They use stdr list of R32s and then call the init method with standard testing allocator. Then they, this is like something that I see for the first time, that they do this in testing allocator. I remember allocators from different things that we did, but not from for testing. Defer list the init, okay, to free up the memory for list. Try commenting this out and see if Zig detects the memory leak. I will do so. Then what they say, they try list append 42. Okay, and then they expect when they pop the list, they expect this to be I32 and 42 the value, and I32 the type. Okay, then they test what else? Lib add 100 and 500. So they call this on a lib. Where, what is a lib? This is a list where they defined lib. Where is this lib coming from? Here. Okay. Const lib import example2 lib. And this is then, I guess, coming from the root. He said, yeah, this is what they are calling. So they are exporting here the function add, and then here they import it as example lib, sorry, and they call it here internally lib, and then they say lib, where it was here, lib.add. So they are calling this function, they pass 150, and then they get result 150, and they just want to see that being equal. Okay, then test fuzz example. What this does, starts here. It's very hard to follow. Let me copy paste it for now. This is just constant standard import, and let's just copy this part so that I can read it better. So I will copy it here, not run it, but just copy it. Yeah, color coding rules. So now we can even see that this is the end of the test. That's what I wanted to see, because that in the notepad it's not so readable. Then what they did, they created a constant called context. They set it up to this struct here, which is anonymous, but they assign it then. They call it context. And this struct has one function called test1, which takes in the context, which then they get by using this built-in this. And the input, which is the constant slice of U8s, and the return type is this union between any error and void. Okay. Then the first thing they do is they dump the context. And then what they do here, expect this to not be equal, because they have the negation here. And what they are comparing, the input with can you find me as U8s. Okay, okay. And so they expect it not to be equal. And here they call they make the call to this fuzz function, std testing fuzz. Why this is called, I'm not seeing the big picture here, just to see something. Std testing fuzz. Where is this fuzz coming from? Let me copy paste the entire thing just so that I can see. Maybe it's from the root. No. Maybe it's built in, I don't know. So let's see here. If I do this, just to see the color coding, and now fuzz. Now this is just like why I'm confused, where they get this fuzz from. This is just like called fuzz example, and I don't see anything named fuzz. Let me try to search, maybe I'm blind. No, it's only these three. Okay, let's just see what they pass the context. Then the context does test1 and the empty struct here. That's what, so it must be that something either imported, so are they built in, or I don't know why. And then this here, test1 is this one. So they will call that internally, I believe. And the input will be, so now depends how they call it, because I don't see the function call here exactly. This is the fuzz, which I don't understand. Let me see what you guys wrote. Robert says new lines are not working though. In the output, small problem. Yeah, okay, this is like the confusing part. I don't understand. I see the standard testing fuzz, but it looks like too like the name fuzz doesn't look like something that would be actually the built-in name of the testing fuzz. But yeah, maybe it is. Well, I don't know why I find this name fuzz so weird. But actually, if I think about it, maybe I even saw it in the docs. I remember seeing something. So I'm maybe just like looks too much like FizzBuzz or foobar. So that's maybe why I think this is like very crazy name for the method. But now when I think about it, I think I saw this in the docs when we were going through testing, so that they even explained what this does exactly, but I forgot really because I haven't practiced, I haven't used it. Okay, so definitely they are passing this context here, and then from the context they are they're selecting this function here, which will then do something in the background. It will run it, and that's what I forgot about this fuzz. Okay, let me see what you guys wrote. Fuzz comes from testing. It is a fuzzing interface. You give it a context and the method to call. It will spam the input with random data. Aha. Okay, thanks. Fuzz. Yeah, I know this term, like fuzzy logic from statistics and things alike, where you have the logic where it's not like 0 and 1, but you have percentage wise when you want to do those kind of calculations. Yeah, fuzzy logic. So I guess that makes sense that they call it in that way. Okay. Okay, guys, I think I will stop here because I kind of went through all the files on the higher level, so I didn't read all the details that were stated. So all these comments that we got by running Zig init. So this one, okay, I went through it. Root, yes, I did go through it because it's a small one, but in the root folder here, there are a lot of things here that I haven't read. So all these comments, look how large they are. And also the other one, the object notation file, has a lot of things, but because I started later, and it's here in Europe, it's already right. So here it's midnight, and I do have to wake up in like 5.5 hours. I have some lessons, so I will stop here for today, and tomorrow I will keep playing. I literally went through the entire docs, so I will not touch docs anymore, which is kind of sad because it looked like it will be matching with my 30 days, that I can literally do in 30 days exactly only docs and nothing else, but it was not the case. That was not the case. So I officially finished the docs, so I will think about what I will do tomorrow. Maybe I will play with this, because when I click this build, it opened up huge docs here, which maybe are not so big to go through in maybe the 2 remaining days that I have. And they are kind of the part of the official docs, just not written in the same. I mean, they are part of the official docs, but they are not written in the same place. That's the only difference, that they separated this as a standalone. So it makes sense that I go through these as well. And it is important because this is like, okay, maybe not for this beginners tutorials that I'm going to create first, because beginners don't build. But for professional usage, of course, this is important, so it makes sense that I go through it. And it makes better, more sense than starting something completely new, like the new topic completely in the last 2 days. So I think I will do this. So I think this is enough for 1 day. So for tomorrow, for sure, maybe even for 2 days if we are lucky, if I'm lucky. So that is, I think, planned for tomorrow, that I go through this build system. Or alternatively, I will think about it. Maybe I will go through where it was, through here, through some most commonly used functions, and because it's still the part of the documentation, but it's just like details about built-in functions and other functions. So maybe I will do this instead. I will think about it tomorrow. So either this, or maybe I will handpick the functions that we used so far in these first 28 days, and then go through them. Maybe that makes more sense than actually focusing on build. I'll think about it. But definitely tomorrow, day 29, I'll have the regular day. I don't know if I will have time to do some special edition coding day. If I do, I might play with the n in line and try to write the file, read the file, and things like that. So maybe that is because this is a basic thing, like working with the file system. So maybe yes, it will make sense that I do that. So I just don't know if I will have time tomorrow. So in the night, I will for sure do day 29. But during the day, if I have time, I will try to do maybe one special edition, again, coding exercise. Let me see what you guys wrote. And let me go here in the outro part and read the docs. So Robert says, this is about fuzz. Robert says you can test it with Zig Build test. On native to run the tests. Zig links are inevitable. Yeah, this is I think the next series, like this one is 30 days of Zig, I will do something like Zig links. I will not say how many days because I don't have any clue how much of things are there, but I will do definitely something like a Zig links challenge or something like that I will do next, I believe. I trust your judgment, so you recommended this and I trust your judgment, so I believe this is probably the best next step. And because I if I understood you correctly, this is like something like here you get like the code editor, right? And then no, you said you have to write locally, but you have tasks that you have to do that are a bit more complex, right? It's not like a lead code kind of question where you have a specific small algorithm that you have to devise and solve a small problem, if I must understand you correctly. So I will definitely do them, and that is the plan for the next live streaming learning experience. And for the special editions, I might also do lead code or something. That would be interesting to do it in Zig. It is actually simple. So Robert says about Zig links at start. Let me just try to see now. So I will go back to here and see Zig links, how they look like. And let's see, is it here on the GitHub or if there is Zig links org. Okay, version changes. Okay. So they give you here so these are the tasks, right? These are the topics that you will practice, right? And then, yeah, this is cool. So this is all the things that are basic also in the docs, but they are, I guess, more elaborated. So the tasks and the challenges. Okay. Let me see what you wrote. Robert says it is meant for people that do know how to program but are new to Zig. Okay. It will get a bit harder later, but not really hard. I would not compare it to lead code. Yeah, definitely. I will definitely give it a try. So sounds like a good idea for the next streaming series after these 30 days finish. And I will also, for practice, I will probably then do, so like I today do these days, like I do like these regular days, and then I did tic-tac-toe and then in a line. So this like side focus would be maybe on lit code. So I will make Zig links the main thing, like in this case Zig docs were the main thing in this series, but I will do like from time to time, not maybe every day, but from time to time I will do some random Zig, but in lit code questions. Robert says it's much simpler. The intent not to test you, but the intent is not to test you, but to teach you syntax and some interesting information. Cool. Yeah, this would be cool to go through. And definitely, this is one of the rare resources about that help you learning Zig, right? So I will also maybe create one special edition after the 30 days expire. I will make a special edition where we'll go through all these Zig resources that people can use to learn Zig and to practice. So I mentioned before, there's like just a few books available, for example, on Amazon. So I might buy one of them. The second one is just going to arrive in September, and there is literally like 2 of them that I've seen that are valid books. Some of them are, others are more like from the comments, like judging by the comments. I haven't read any of them, but I've seen that they say that they think, the people who bought the book and read it, they think it's just like generated by AI, and the person who did this, that the person published like 50 books about 50 programming languages, and they don't know any programming language at all, and there were like some nonsense things like they're speaking about Zig's garbage collector, something like that. So that's how the people discovered that it's probably AI and that it doesn't apply actually to Zig. So literally 2 books that I've seen that are valid books. One is not even available yet, but the other one is available. So maybe I will go through also through this, and I will also go. So for example, I have found some cool channels. I was trying not to watch the videos, but I did find some channels. So I just like click a video and then I pause it so that it's in my history, so that I can find it easily later. But I haven't watched them because, like I said, I wanted these 30 days to be literally like me going through the docs and not doing anything outside of the stream. Now I will do outside. I will start doing things outside of the stream after 30 days, which is more realistic situation. So that's why. And I will then also maybe, like I said, I plan to do one day where I will go through all the resources about Zig that I found, recommend by you guys, and also like these channels that I found and these books, and I will just like mention to the people, show them like what they are, so that the people can check for themselves if they like some of these or not. So that's the idea also for one special edition. That would be like Zig resources. And I hope the people will also, maybe some people who come online to chat, or maybe later in the comments, maybe someone will find something else that is interesting and they will like add to it. That would be cool. And I also found here somewhere, I have it somewhere here in my tabs open. I didn't close. So I found some official GitHub, I think, of the Zig language, Zig's GitHub, and then somewhere down there it was some links about some resources as well, which could be interesting. So also worth mentioning. Let me see what you guys say. So Robert says Zig is surprisingly nice for lit code, but not supported by the website, or it wasn't when I looked last time. One of the book is completely free. Aha, that's cool. You can pay for it, but it is free on GitHub, not stolen. Aha, Pedro Park 99 Zig book. So let me open it up. So I will, like I said, I don't want to do anything off cameras, before the 30 days expire, but definitely once I go through 30 days, I will check it out. So I will leave it like this. I will not read it before Monday, but after the Monday, then I will definitely give it a look. Maybe this is the one that I found on also on Amazon, but here it's free. Or maybe just like the cover looks similar. So I forgot. I have one. Maybe I have it open here. No, it's on the other browser, on the other desktop. Okay. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation. I will definitely check it out from Monday. And it's cool that it's free completely. That's so great. Thanks, Robert, for the recommendation. And I will stop here for today. So we have the plan for tomorrow. Regular stream in the evening, maybe one in the morning. I'm not promising anything. If I have time, I will love to practice more. And then in the evening, I guess I will go through the docs with these functions, so that I will try to cherry pick some functions that I remember using before, so that we have some more deeper understanding of them. So that's the plan for tomorrow. Robert says you can pay for it, but it's free. Yeah, I missed that part. So yeah, I see here there is a PayPal donation on the link that use of this book. So yeah, that's cool. People can donate. That is cool. I will probably donate once I get it to support the guy. Okay, thanks guys for being here today. It was fun having finally Zig running on the local. It's a precious feeling for sure. So see you tomorrow. Have a nice evening, day, depending where you are, and see you soon. Bye bye.